When we first hit the trail, the first thing we're going to do is air down the tires. Now this is going to give us a more comfortable ride because the tires are going to be a little more squishy. It's going to give us more traction, especially in slippery situations such as sand, snow, ice, rock crawling. We're just going to be able to get more traction that way. It's going to do less damage to dirt roads like this. It's going to help prevent washboard. And when we're driving over it, boy, it'll make a big difference when your tires are aired down. Now also, if you're going over something that's really sharp, the tire will be able to flex and go over that instead of puncturing or possibly popping a bead. So there's a lot of good reasons to air down your tires. Now the two types of air down tools are what's called automatic, where you set the pressure in here, put them on there, and they just stop when they hit that pressure, and rapid tire deflators, where you actually remove the valve core with this tool and it will very quickly air down the tires. So I'm going to show you both of them in operation. Now with automatic tire deflators, once you have the pressure set, you just put them on and let them go. Now I do prefer these J.T. Brooks automatic deflators because inside it actually has a gauge, so I can change the setting to whatever I want. Where less expensive ones, you really have to calibrate it over and over and over to get it exactly where you want, or you buy one set that you run at 18 psi and one set you run at 10 psi, and but these I can just adjust on the fly, set it to whatever temperature or pressure I want, screw them on here, and they're just going to start going, and they'll just turn off when I reach that pressure. Now with the rapid deflator, we're going to put this on here. It'll actually remove the valve core, and you'll hear a huge difference in how fast the air comes out of these. So we first screw it on, push everything forward, push the plunger in, and turn it counterclockwise. And at some point you'll feel that it's loose, and you know that you've got that valve core out. Pull it out, and you can hear a huge difference in how fast the air comes out with the rapid deflator. The difference being I have to go tire to tire to tire and do it this way, versus the automatic deflators. I can just put them all on and then start organizing my gear, or actually even get on the road. Just like we have multiple ways of airing down, we have multiple ways of airing back up. Because if you're going to take air out of your tires, you better have a way of putting air back in your tires. And I don't recommend driving on asphalt with aired down tires. That's just not a good idea. You can pop a bead, you go around a turn too fast, things can get ugly really fast. For an air compressor, I've got this Smittybilt here. It does about 5.9 cubic feet per minute. That's pretty fast for a small air compressor, and it's going to run about $180. So fairly affordable. If you want faster air compressor, you're going to have to spend a lot of money on something like an ARB dual, which is going to run about $700. So anything better than this is going to be pretty pricey. So for $180, the Smittybilt is pretty good. Then we have CO2 tanks. Now, this is a kind of a do-it-yourself. You go CO2 tank, a regulator, and a connector, and you're good to go. So all in, you can spend about $250 to get a CO2 tank if you do it yourself, versus buying one from like Power Tank, which is going to run about $700 to $800. So very expensive to get a name brand, very easy to get a do-it-yourself. What I don't have is all the dials and switches and gauges on top like the Power Tank, but I don't need them. I just need to air up my tires. So I'm going to do each side, and we'll see how long it takes to air up a tire. These are 37-inch tires. We're going to go from 15 psi up to 39 psi. So let's see how long it takes. All right, we've got the air compressor hooked up to this tire. I am going to run the engine while I'm using the air compressor because, again, it's a nice draw. So I'm going to go up to the front, turn the air compressor on, and start the timer. And we'll see how long it takes to air this tire up. All right, the timer started, and now we're going to have to wait and keep checking the dash to see where the PSI is. So one of the downfalls of using the compressor, even though there's a gauge right on the end, the gauge isn't going to show me pressure unless I stop the compressor. So it's a little inconvenient to figure out what pressure your tires are at. So I just watch the TPMS gauge on the dash and wait till it gets to where I want. The problem with that is it only updates on like every 30 seconds or so. So there's a very likely possibility that I overshoot my goal and overpressure the tires and then have to let some out to get exactly where I want. We'll see how it goes today. Okay, that was 3 minutes and 43 seconds, and it jumped over to 40 pounds. So we're going to go ahead and shut it off and try the CO2 tank. All right, we've got the CO2 tank going, and I'm going to reset the timer here, and I'll start it, and we'll see how long it takes to air up with CO2. Stopwatch, start. All right, there we have it, 1:39 with the CO2, and that was taking these 37-inch Patagonias from 16 pounds to 39 pounds. So huge difference with CO2. And if you build your own tank, the cost isn't that much, but then you do have to deal with filling the tank up, which can, depending on where you're at, can run anywhere from about $20 to about $30 for a 20-pound tank like this. So hope that helps explain CO2 versus compressor.